Hallo, assalamu alaikum, good morning, khushamdi, ji ayanu, goeiemorgen.
Pagkairagale, ni hao, Churashume, Washwale, Ohio Gonzaimes, Guten Morgen, Hola, Bonjour, Privyet, Kaifahal, Hale Shumat Chitore, Ahlan Wasalan Marhaba, Bhali Kare Ayo, ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to PTV World. You're definitely watching World this morning alongside the very energetic, the very fantastic Shiza Hashmi and Shahzad Khan. Hello Shiza, how are you doing on a very fine Friday morning?
I'm doing absolutely great, doing average as well, but I'm just really happy because, well, we're headed into a weekend and I'm going to Multan.
Oh, well, that's great. So you're happy about going to Multan?
Yeah,
Why?
because I just feel like, I mean, we should enjoy all the time that we get with our family, so why
Oh
not?
my God, that's great. So that was a great escape. I think it should actually be titled by the name of
The
Great
Great
Escape. But
Escape.
that's particularly all right, ladies and gentlemen. I think that family members are those people who actually need to be around you quite often, and it's because of the fact that they even their hearts get to relax, and you get to relax too as well. And when you are with your family members, I think each and every moment is to be cherished.
Absolutely. So here's the thing, Shazad, ever since I joined the show, you've been doing this for so long, mashallah.
alhamdulillah.
But I keep telling you that I get to learn a lot from you almost every day.
Yeah.
And the way that we open our show, all the greetings and, all the ways that we sort of, say hello to everyone out there in the world
Yeah.
in so many different languages. It does sound generic to everyone who's watching every day because it's sort of a routine.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I feel great personally to at least know all these words in these languages.
Yeah.
While I can say, okay, maybe fluently I can speak 4 languages or
Four
something.
languages, all right.
I want to say yes.
Okay, let's
but at
let's
least-
name them. Let's name
All
them.
right. Urdu.
Urdu,
English.
Yeah, I agree to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Punjabi.
Punjabi, give it a try.
Okay. What do you want me to say in
कुछ आखो
Punjabi?
जरा हल्का
मैंने
जिहा।
पूरी पंजाबी आंदी है.
Hi, but by the way, people who are from Multan, they speak Saraiki. Do you know
I don't
Saraiki?
belong to Multan, that's why. Oh, but I do. Okay.
एक दो
Siraiki.
त्रै चार पाँच
Yeah,
छः
yeah.
सात आठ
Do
नौ
cup cha.
Do cup cha. Well, that's good too as well. So Shiza, it's great, yeah.
Yeah.
No?
And how many languages do you know actually?
Well, I think that I can actually speak. Okay, let me figure it out. So I have Urdu, English, Pashto, Punjabi, a little bit of Arabic, and yeah, that's pretty much it. 5-6 languages, and I've always been very interested in speaking a lot more languages as well. And I think that the way process brains more languages is very interesting. And gradually, when you are traveling all over the globe, and when you speak to a native person in their native language, they're just surprised. Even till date, I think whenever I get to see a lot of foreigners who are English speaking, they're like, how can you speak so much good English? So then I was like, okay, over here in Pakistan, and that was the reason why, ladies and gentlemen, on PTV World, you'll always see younger faces. And it's so the concept behind it was that the world gets to know that we are not behind anybody else as well. But not just that, when we talk about being not behind, I think that we really need to talk about the PSL 5 opening ceremony. A lot of people have loved it. A lot of people have criticized it as well. But ladies and gentlemen, it's our very own brand. It's the second largest franchise all over the world. And when I saw that the stadium was full of people, I was so excited. And the feeling I had, it was very amazing. It was very different. And yeah, so Quetta, you did a great job. Islamabad, you can actually do better than this as well. But I think Quetta Gladiators all the way. I think I will be supporting Quetta Gladiators in
Just
this
yesterday you said you were supporting Islamabad.
Islamabad, yeah, till the time they didn't lose a match, but now they've lost a match. So I think
I will have to stick to Multan Sultans for the entire season. But Shazad, what I absolutely loved was the anticipation in Karachi.
Yeah.
Did you see the roads and the hoardings and everything? Entire city was decorated, the City of Lights, and each and every single person was waiting for it to, kick open so that we can own up to something and enjoy each and every bit of it.
Exactly, and that's what's happening. But ladies and gentlemen, one last request which I'm going to make to people who are out there, who are my friends, who are family members, or who can contact me in any way, and that is that please do not ask me for PSL tickets, because there's a reason. I might be able to give you a PSL ticket. That's not a big problem, because the ticket is only for 350, 500 rupees, 1,000, 1,500, 3,000, and they're available on TCS. So everybody needs to get them in the first place.
Right.
But why am I saying this to you is that this is our very own franchise, this is our very own brand, a lot of money is going into it as well. So I think what we need to do as nations who actually prosper is because of the fact that they stand together in such events as well, in calamities as well. So what we need to do is collectively buy tickets, go watch the matches. And you know, for the very first time, ladies and gentlemen, the entire PSL is going to take place in Pakistan, and that was the idea which was conceived by our very own Prime Minister, Mr. Imran Khan Sahab as well, and then followed by Ahsan Mani, who's the chairman PCB as well. So I think
Right.
everybody needs to be out there, and everybody needs to support our players. Hard luck for Umar Akmal, but we still do not know what actually happened. So once I'm going to get to know about that, we'll definitely do a show on it.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for giving out this amazing message as well. I love how you have this amazing knowledge of cricket too, because to be honest, I think I am not a sports person, so I don't have a lot to say about it. Just really, really happy that we have something to own up to.
Exactly.
But other than that, Shazad, here's the thing. So in the beginning, when we spoke about how many languages we know and everything, there's a specific reason why we said that. Do you want to tell us?
Yeah, there's a specific reason. I mean, just imagine that, you know, since I mentioned about Umar Akmal, and no offense to anybody, but let's take a look at it from another you know, perspective. Ladies and gentlemen, Umar Akmal recently was being trolled all over the internet just because of the fact that he updated a status, that too in a language which was not very well known to him, and yeah, people started trolling him. So what he wrote was a mother from another brother. And
Was
you know,
that real? I thought
yeah,
it's
that was real. That was a real tweet as well. We're not sure whether he did it or not. But imagine that when you are learning another language, I think that other people need to give you a lot of space in terms that, because over here in Pakistan, ever since I was learning English, you know, a lot of people used to make fun of me, or, you know, you said it wrong, you said it wrong. But it's only going to get better when you're going to say, when you're going to speak that particular language. So Umar Akmal, my heart goes for you as well, you know, and I think that, I hope and pray that you learn the language in a better way as well, because languages need to be learned, ladies and gentlemen. You cannot continue to speak the way you think is correct.
No, absolutely. And Shazad, when we're talking about languages, I feel like there's such a, you know, perfect way to carry on your culture and heritage on to next generations as well, right? Because we know so many native languages from probably thousands and thousands of years ago. To begin with, of course, they were symbolic and drawn and often written, but then they were verbal as well. So ladies and gentlemen, for all of those who don't know, today is the 21st of February, and we are celebrating as a member state of the United Nations International Mother Languages Day. And well, I'm really proud to say, correct me if I'm wrong, my mother language, our mother language is actually Urdu. But here's the thing. So when we're looking at a world which is now moving towards globalization, Shazad, a lot of things are intermixing. Everyone is sort of on the same page because of so many things, post-colonialism, internet, whatnot. There are two aspects to it as well. Yes, multilingualism is going to be amazing. You can get to learn and, you know, get to be acquainted with a lot of languages. But you feel like when we are globalizing that fast, maybe we would lose our identity of the language.
Exactly. So let me tell you, Shiza, you know, and I think that this is a beautiful point which you've raised over here. So ladies and gentlemen, all over the globe, 43% of different languages are actually threatened to completely be eradicated from this planet, and it's because of the fact that there are no more people, literary people, who are actually working on the language, or there are no more people who are speaking the same language as well. So I think that there needs to be quite a lot which needs to be done. And over here in Pakistan, there's this wonderful thing which is being done, ladies and gentlemen, and I think everybody needs to do that. And so, you know, just when the so I don't know whether how I need to put it. So imagine that, ladies and gentlemen, that over here at the National Council for Arts, Pakistan National Council for Arts, they thought that, okay, you know, if it's going to be Mother Languages Day, why can't we actually have a literary festival in the names of mother languages
so
as well?
thoughtful, actually.
So yes, it is. And ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be tomorrow and day after tomorrow as well. And yeah, they're doing a wonderful job just for all of those people who are out there. You know, as far as my knowledge is concerned, I know for sure that there are more than 73 languages within Pakistan. A lot of people might not know them, and there are different dialects as well. So for example, if you are going to go to Faisalabad, you will hear a very different Punjabi. But if you're going to come down to Mandi Bahawalpur, the Punjabi is very different. So, and you know, even Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, you go to Bannu, it's different. You go to Peshawar, it's different. Even in Sindh, you go to Hyderabad, it's different as well. So ladies and gentlemen,
versatile. Yes, I love it.
I think it's our sole responsibility to protect and make sure that we deliver it to the future generations as well. Imagine, you know, after 20 years or 30 years or 50 years, babies being born and nobody knows what Urdu was. So I think that's going to be very heart-reckoning for everybody, and everybody needs to work in this direction as well.
Absolutely.
And people, ladies and gentlemen, who made it possible are with us. We're very lucky. And the first lady whom I'm going to introduce, ladies and gentlemen, She's not been a very regular guest on the show, but she's always been the very supreme guest, and it's because of the fact that the kind of things, the kind of services she has rendered while working for these different institutions. For example, Lokvisa, she was
Right.
earlier affiliated with that as well, and when she got retired, we had her on the show too as well. There was a book launch. And now, ladies and gentlemen, she's the director PNCA, and she's none other than Dr. Fawzia Saeed. किसी भी किस्म के इंट्रोडक्शन की मोहताज नहीं है. अस्सलाम वालेकुम. How are you? Good morning.
Very happy, very bright, and looking forward to this festival of languages.
Amazing.
Wow.
Thank you very much for joining us alongside Dr. Fawzia, ladies and gentlemen. We've actually been joined by somebody who's actually, I think he's the right guy who will make us understand how important mother language is or mother tongue is. And I'm actually going to be in an argument with this gentleman, and it's because of the fact that my definition of mother language is very different to the kind of definition he's got, ladies and gentlemen. He's none other Professor Dr. Manzoor Hussain Sumro Sahab. Hello, sir. Assalamu alaikum. Kya hala?
Thank you. Walaikum assalam and good morning. Dado Sutwal.
That is it. Thank you very much for joining us. It's wonderful to have you alongside Dr. Saab. Ladies and gentlemen, we've actually been joined by an educationist herself as well. Ladies and gentlemen, she's none other than Miss Nargis Sultana. Hello, assalamu alaikum. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you very much, and good morning, everyone.
Thank you very much. I
Loving
love the
the
energy.
energy.
Yes, that's great. And last but not the least, ladies and gentlemen, we have actually been joined by the board member of Indus Cultural Forum. She's none other than Miss Nusrat Zahra. Hello, assalamu alaikum. Good morning.
Hello, good morning to all, and happy Mother's Day. Oh, sorry.
Mother language.
language.
Yeah,
To you too.
you know, one way or the other way, it's fine.
It's
to
a
say.
mother.
Yeah,
Exactly.
because it comes from the mother. That's perfectly fine.
exactly.
But let's get the conversation started with Dr. Fawzia.
Okay.
So the very conception of this idea that we are actually going to hold our own literary festival in the name of mother languages, whose idea was it?
This came from Indus Cultural Forum.
Okay.
Because this is a cultural group, it's a platform that looks after all kinds of cultures,
Yep.
not
Right.
just from one region. And when I was heading Lokvirsa, they
Yeah.
came to me and they said, this is what we want to do. And since I've been a very strong proponent of mother languages, because culture is collected, is stored inside us, we are a repository, and that all happens with the mother language.
Yeah.
Our dreams, our songs, our words that we use, even if
The way we
speak another-
comprehend.
Absolutely, and the worldview that we create. So I was very happy about it,
Yeah.
and it was a very fantastic collaboration. And we started it about 5 years ago. So this will be our 5th one.
Wow.
Oh, amazing.
So while I
wow.
was there for 3 years, we had 3 festivals, and then I was not there. There was another one, and now I'm in PNCS, so we are holding it in PNCS.
So you just brought the festival with you.
Well, actually, it just happened.
Well, she's,
That's
she's-
amazing. That's amazing. It's
Yeah.
just really good to look at the fact that we're actually holding such festivals.
Yeah.
It's so
It's
important.
amazing, yeah, because when you have more than 150, 200 scholars
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
who write in more than 25 languages, and they are there, they've written books, they've written fiction, they've written poetry. It's wonderful.
It
Wow.
is indeed wonderful. But now moving on to you, sir, so sorry. But before you and Shahzad actually do get into an argument, I want you to begin with actually defining and explaining to us what would we, consider a language for it to be a mother language.
thank you very much.
That was my question. That's all.
But I want to wait for it to turn into an argument
Yeah,
so I
go
can
ahead.
pick sides.
You see, the child, biologically, when a child or a baby is conceived, actually there is a system which is fed through mother. The baby is nurtured in mother's womb, gets the food, but also gets to hear the voice of mother.
Yeah.
And you may have noticed it that when a baby is born, if mother speaks, the baby would be alert because that voice is known to her. And I believe that is the reason the mother language is what a person's mother has been speaking.
Okay.
Now, you may argue that,
He's anticipating.
Right.
what is being practiced.
Yeah.
That is, if mother is speaking some other language than her mother, then it's up to her mother. But the baby has been listening to that language,
Okay.
and I suppose in that context it could be
Well, that's great. So, you know,
Okay.
I think that argument is a harsher word as well. So, let's just put it this way that we're trying to learn today
Yeah.
sir, from you. And since you're a professional yourself, so I think I'm going to pose two questions towards you.
Okay.
So, one, I read this article last night while I was preparing for the show. And the article said that for a child, whatever first language he or she is going to speak
Oh,
is their
yeah.
mother language, irrespective of the fact that the kind of language mother speaks or not. And the other situation can be, for example, imagine that there's a baby who does not have a mother, as soon as the baby was being delivered, the mother died or the mother passed away or the child was adopted by somebody else. What will be his or her mother language?
Well, I think obviously then whatever is nurtured there, but I think the first language that the baby heard was, of course,
The mother's.
the mother.
All right.
Okay.
That child, I don't know, maybe he gets confused. I'm not an expert of
Yeah. Of who?
Adoption.
Or how?
children or adoption or psychology.
I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm basically a scientist.
Yeah.
I strongly feel that if you want to communicate the understanding of scientific processes, it is always mother's
Mother
language.
language, yes.
Like Dr. Fozia said, that you imagine, you dream, you develop a world of your own
Exactly.
as a child, actually in your own mother language. Even today, I mean, after 63 years of my age, I always think in my Sindhi language, and then I can communicate in whatever language.
That's amazing,
Yeah,
sir.
but ladies and gentlemen, I think that we really need to go further and dig
Yeah.
in deeper as well. So I'm going to move on to Miss Nargis over here, since you're an educationist yourself. And this is one more thing which I understood yesterday, and that was that to make sure that the kid actually understands whatever they're being taught. If it is in mother language, they can understand it very well.
Yeah.
They can comprehend it very well. Why do you think that mother language or the mother tongue has such an impact on us as well? Because I'm going to coincide an example with that.
Okay.
Now, when we started doing this show, it was an English platform, and initially I had a little difficulty speaking English, and it was only because of the fact that I was in the first place thinking in Urdu and then translating it in English. But then eventually I realized that if I am to speak it fluently, what I need to do is that I actually need to think in English as well. So I had to change, unlearn. Do you think that it is important to learn another language? You actually have to forget the previous one or the way you were thinking, and then how is it going to have an impact on your learning process?
Thank you. I think you have rightly mentioned that, I mean, everyone thinks in their own languages. So from that point of view, it is very important. And it is also important from quality education point of view as well.
Yes, go on.
Yeah. So you see, it's important because when there is respect for linguistic rights, it's important for empowering communities and reducing discrimination.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you see, you talked about this Mother Languages Day,
Right.
and this is very important because it provides a platform to all the
Exactly.
intellectuals, thinkers, and writers in our country to come together, and then they present their work in these languages. And you see sometimes these languages are considered marginalized, so it's very empowered to reduce discrimination and to empower communities. And when I mentioned about education, you see in early years particularly, it's very important that we need to promote critical thinking. And if we want to promote critical thinking, then you see children can think in their own language and they can express very well. So it's very
Absolutely.
important that in early years teachers teach in their own language so that they can understand, and there should be a participatory approach, and then children can enjoy as
Yeah.
well.
Right,
that's
I
good.
do agree with that absolutely. But here's the thing, lately going on, and I think that is contrary to what you just said, how teachers should be actually imparting knowledge in the mother language. Well, it happened to actually my niece as well. So while she was late in her speech, and that time she was in Amsterdam, so the doctor told her mom to actually make her stick to just one language because she was getting Dutch, English, Urdu, all sorts of languages. She couldn't pick up on one. So she resorted to English. And now that she's back in Pakistan, she cannot, make friends or, speak to Pakistani people around her. So your point being where it is the responsibility of the educationer to actually carry on the legacy of the language and, impart that knowledge, it's sort of dying because of the private school culture as well.
Yeah.
First of all, do you agree with me, ma'am? And how important it is to actually retain your language? You go on, please. Yes.
Thank you so much. But you have given your own example, yeah?
Yeah.
That when you started this show, it was difficult for you to speak in English fluently.
If I was thinking in Urdu.
Because you were thinking, but your early education was in Urdu, and you can, because you are in the habit, you know how to learn things.
Yeah.
So you shifted to the another language very easily, and now you are
Exactly.
very fluent and you think in the another
Yes, that's
language. That is the thing we are discussing, and we want to, tell people that if you will start in the early years of your education in your mother language,
Yeah.
then in the after 5 years or 6 primary education, the child will be able to, he can
Will be able
learn
to
or
pick up
she
the
can learn
language,
a lot of languages.
Exactly. Well, that's great. But since you're the board member for Indus Cultural Forum as well, and Dr. Fauzi over here very rightly mentioned that it was the Indus Cultural Forum who brought in this idea as well. So who conceived this idea? I actually want to know the person who actually thought of having a literary festival based on mother languages. I think that guy really needs to be given a Tamga Imtiaz or Sitara Imtiaz, whatever it is, because I think that it's one of its kind in the first place, and then it's the 5th time that you guys are doing it as well. So I think that the person needs to be appreciated.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Dr. Sahiba. I'm really thankful to her, because if she was not there at Lokvesa, we couldn't make it possible.
Wow.
Yeah? And Dr. Manzoor Saab is sitting here. He is also our senior, and
Founder
but
member.
yeah, founder,
Mashallah.
he is also one of the founder person. I was also there, but this idea. We are a group of friends, 4 or 5 friends, and we usually go to the different art festival, literature festivals like Karachi Literature. So in 2011, we 3 or 4 were standing in the Karachi Literature Festival, and of course Karachi, Sindh, and there was no session in Sindhi language.
Right.
And
Yeah, go on, please go on.
yeah, there was no session in Sindhi language, and only 2 sessions were in one mushaira and other something. I
Yeah.
don't remember
Okay.
exactly. And when we came out, the gentry, the people who were the people who were there were not.
Right.
Were not the middle class people.
Okay.
And the people who they were not the people who used to usually speak Urdu. They were not the people who speak Sindhi. And we were standing in province of Sindh,
Yeah.
and our official language is Sindhi and Urdu.
लेकिन
So
क्या
we-
क्लास कभी ये डिफाइन कर सकती है कि क्या कौन सी जुबान आपकी होगी? इससे क्लास का तो कोई ताल्लुक नहीं.
Yeah, actually,
Oh,
no.
there is, my God, yes, there
Yes.
is. I'll let you
All right,
answer that.
let's get on with that. Yeah, go
Let's
ahead.
get into the politics of
Yes.
language,
Yeah,
because I think that
Dr. Sahiba,
Yeah,
one minute.
go ahead.
I want to take the name of Niaz
sorry, I'm
Nadeem.
tickling
Yeah,
you.
the
Yeah.
chairperson of.
otherwise
yeah,
I would have taken
because
Nadeem
if
is
I
the
won't
person
say
who
that,
actually-
that will be dishonesty.
course,
So
please
he
go on.
was the person who took the
Initiative.
initiative. We all were with him, and we had the same feeling. But he said, and we gave the cap to him that you are our.
All right.
caretaker.
That's
Wow,
why
that's-
we made him the chairman of Indus
Chairman,
Cultural
yeah.
Forum.
Ah, that's great.
Oh, now he's the chairman, okay.
Chairman Saab, congratulations, and thank you very much for giving us this amazing festival.
Right, absolutely. So, ma'am, here's the thing. Now we do need to get into the politics of language. I'll tell you why. Because, we have actually made it sort of a Marxist thing, If you belong to that class of the society, you definitely just know English. And actually, to just clear all of those watching right now, because Shahzad, we do get a lot of criticism on why Shahzad and I are speaking English. For all of those who don't know, this is the English channel of the state. And this is actually meant towards, showing the entire world, more than 40 other countries in the world, what Pakistan is. Thus, we chose a medium that everyone can understand. Now, ma'am, recently a video surfaced on internet, on Twitter. I'm pretty sure all of us have watched it. How a female actually flipped out over a traffic
You
police
don't have any
person
sense of humor.
speaking in Punjabi, which, I don't know what's wrong with that. I'm pretty sure everyone can understand 1 or 2 lines of Punjabi, right?
Yeah.
So please move on. First of all, explain how this has become a class thing and how we need to stop it.
Okay, I think the main argument is not that it is a class thing or not, but yes, the politics of it is very important to understand. And Urdu kind of came into this country. There is a certain number of population. There is a component of our population who spoke Urdu, and we do have people here whose mother language is Urdu, probably yours too. But people used to speak other languages in a normal manner, and were writers and scholars and intellectuals. And suddenly with Urdu, this is a long time ago,
Right.
but with Urdu, they were jahil or unpad, because they couldn't get a job. You know, they couldn't even get a job of a teacher, school teacher, somebody who has written so much and is a scholar. So suddenly the measure of who is educated and who is not was not about education, but was about language. And if you wanted a better job, then you have to have English.
Okay.
And in the past, all these civil service jobs, etc., were open to people who knew English. So it is very political. So all those writers, those who could not jump the boat,
Okay.
you know, were left behind. So it was imperative for parents to push their children to learn Urdu English if they wanted them to do well. That is the history, that is the baggage that we have. So it is a
Right.
very political question, and that is why when we hear good English, we say, ha, good social stature. And when we
exactly.
hear English with a heavy local accent, we say, where did this guy go to school? So it is that hierarchy, you know, within the society. And if somebody is only speaking in Pashto or only in Sindhi and not in Urdu, then we assume that this is the driver or this is a cleaner, and we
Right.
should just
A
have them
different
sit outside
class.
the office. So that is the kind of mental mindset we have, and that is why people are embarrassed. I'm really saying that
Okay.
with full confidence, that people, a lot of people are embarrassed to speak in their own mother tongue.
Right.
And they try and Englishize it and Urduize it. And when they speak, they are within their family, and whenever they are outside, they want to create an impression, quote unquote, an impression.
Right.
So they want to be very
never
good.
actually, they could never become the English anyway.
No, that's true. But I feel like, sir, it's a result of colonialism as well. And we have.
But we are
I-
carrying that baggage. We are carrying that. So we have not reconciled with, and now is the time, and through your show, I want to say, we want to reconcile with it, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Speak your language freely with your children, because that is a gift you will give them.
Okay,
Right.
all right,
This
that's
is an
brilliant.
effort in that direction, that we organize this festival every year,
Yes.
whereby we bring the people who write in local languages,
Okay.
who say you know, poetry in local languages, and one of the aspects that we have added to it is the scientific processes and scientific activities, so that we bring in science as part of our culture.
Oh, wow, love
And
it.
let me emphasize that whatever language you are speaking, it has nothing to do with your inner talent.
Absolutely true.
I mean, there are people not speaking English at all.
Yes.
May it be in China or may it be in Iran, and yet they are brilliant.
Exactly.
Yes, and people actually stick to the languages as well. You're so right. It doesn't. It has nothing to do with your talent. Shahzad, if you remember, just recently last week in Oscars, when the best movie was won by this Korean director, he actually, opted to do a lot of his conversation in his own language as well, with a lot of people there too. So, ladies and gentlemen, I actually do want to get into, a deeper conversation about how many scholars and what sort of literary work will be going on in the festival as well.
Yeah.
Because languages we need to retain, and I just feel like when you translate one form of poetry or prose to another language, it kills the true essence of it. Because a professor was in our university, and he was from Poland, and he was explaining to us about, Lama Muhammad Iqbal's work. Since we studied it in Urdu and we studied it in Farsi, and people had explained it better to us, we didn't really like what he was telling it to us in English. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the things that we will be talking about after this very short break. Please stay tuned. Good morning.
And yeah, once you guys are going to come back, there's one more question, and I think it's very interesting as well, which I'm going to pose towards Professor Saab as well.
Yes.
What if that the mother is bilingual? So which language is the
Or
child
multilingual.
is going to pick up on? This is one thing, and then other, obviously, since I have the contents, that what is actually going to happen within this Mela as well, and I need to speak about, there are a few topics which I think are going to be very interesting as well. So, once you get back from the break, let's do this as well. Let's ask them
morning.
about the Mela.
Welcome back to World This Morning, ladies and gentlemen, on a very amazing, pleasant Friday morning where today we are celebrating all the native languages of Pakistan, all the dialects of Pakistan,
World.
and well, the entire world too. And this specific festival that is helping us to actually realize the importance of these languages too.
Exactly, and not how to be, and I think that, this festival is actually going to raise awareness on how not to be insecure about your own mother language as well. Because, quite a lot of times, even just in between the break, Professor Saab, Dr. Saiba asked me a question, about my mother tongue. And I was like, okay, so, once I was a man, that's the time when I realized that, nobody was speaking Punjabi anymore in my household. And there was a reason behind it. And ladies and gentlemen, obviously the reason was that parents wanted us to be more well-behaved, and I think that's how they think of Punjabi as well. And I think that everybody needs to kind of, absorb it in as well, because that's the harsh reality. But very quickly now, what I need to know over here is that what's going to happen over the period of 2 days within this festival, and then we'll move on to the contents, because there's some interesting things written over here as well.
Right.
So yeah, whoever
Nus-
wants to tell us
I
about the
think Nusrat
festival.
would start.
Yeah, Ms. Nusrat, please.
We have this time, because we are, I mean,
She's more excited than us. That's the best part.
of course I am excited. Because this is the fifth year, so we have included many other things like theatre, like we are having the dance performance. We have invited one of our great singer. He or she can sing in 5-7 languages.
Wow.
So we are very, and we can also talk about the constitution. With
That's because
something
this is-
very serious.
This is something,
Constitution
since
and
I told
language
her,
rights.
since I told her before the show that this is something I'm going to ask her, so she jumped onto it. But it says over here, Constitution and Protection of Mother Languages of
Yes.
Pakistan. So what do we actually mean about that? Is there anything written within the Constitution as well for the protection of languages?
Article 28 of the Constitution gives us the right to have our cultural identity, our language. We can work for that. We can you can say we can arrange different type of things. Our education should be in our mother language. These are our rights. So when we talk about these rights, we ask that all the languages are national languages, not only the one language.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the thing we are asking. This is the policy thing, and Dr. Saba will, tell more in detail here.
Official language, whatever may be, but the languages are
need
people's
to be
languages are
recognized,
those
and
that
they should be a part
should
of
be
the
considered
Constitution.
national.
Yeah, and I think that, ladies and gentlemen, we really need to do it now, and I think that it's about time that we kind of think about it as well. It's been more than 7 decades, and now is the time that we are realizing that, we should have been insecure about our mother languages as well, and we should have kept on speaking the same language.
While I do agree with that, there must be a certain segment of the society which is definitely embarrassed by it. But I feel like a lot of parents who were actually, making their kids go towards the Urdu direction, themselves belonging to either Sindh or Punjab, or, having those languages, was because they wanted them to sort of flourish and go forward in their life, because of the mere fact that in the work industry, people will actually consider them to be, belonging from downtrodden segments if they were to come up at the interview speaking Punjabi or anything.
Yeah.
But since we're so short on time, I actually want all of you to please say a beautiful piece of poetry or prose or anything close to your heart in the language that is close to your heart. And
Or your
who
mother language.
Who shall we begin with?
Okay, I will, but instead of of poetry, I would just want to say something.
Oh, please
Okay?
go ahead.
I think that this stereotype that when you're speaking your own language, you're not educated, or you're rowdy, or you're not tameez wala, it needs to go away.
Yeah.
And we need to own it. Just because it's not being nice to have all these languages, it is a matter of identity, and we have to be an inclusive society if we want to move forward.
Right.
So we have to accept everyone's identity, and language is very close to the identity.
Beautifully said. So, Professor Saab, first of all, what if the mother is bilingual? And then, a piece of poetry.
Yeah, I think whatever language mother speaks in the house, while the baby is inside, that is what for that child would be the mother language, as far as I can
And
see.
father's language
Or, yeah,
matters also.
Exactly.
But I think at the early stage, it is probably much better, and for 3 generations we have been practicing. My grandchildren also. We always speak our own mother language, Sindhi, at house.
Exactly.
So
That's
all
great.
our children speak Sindhi. Of course, they have difficulty because they are living in Islamabad, so they have difficulty in writing it or reading, but communication absolutely no problem. English, they go to school. Urdu, they go to school and understand. Urdu, they even speak while playing in the street. But whatever is your passion, your goal in life, I want to share with you what Shah Abdul Latif Bhitai said.
Go ahead,
Tatiya thadiya kaah kaanhe vela vehana ji mata the unda per na lahi piriya jo. Whether it's cold or hot, continue your passion, your your goal, pursuing goal.
Sir, ਸਾਨੂੰ
And
ਸਿੰਧੀ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਨਾ ਆਂਦੀ, ਐਸੀ ਮਦਦ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਕਰੀਏ?
ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਸਾਡਾ।
ਇਹੀ ਤਾਂ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਹੈ।
ਮੈਂ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਬੋਲ ਸਕਣਾ, ਅੱਛੇ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਬੋਲ ਸਕਣਾ।
ਮਾਸ਼ਾਅੱਲਾ ਸਰ।
ਮੈਂ ਸਰਾਇਕੀ ਵੀ ਬੋਲੇ ਨਾ।
ਆਏ
ਠੀਕ ਹੈ। I can speak Balochi also.
ਜੀ ਆਏ।
Because this is all our strength. This is the beauty. वो जो एक गुलदस्ता होता है ना, there is a bouquet of flowers.
We
really.
have to own
The
up
more
to.
language we have,
to own up.
Exactly. Thank you very much, sir. But Ms. Nargis, for you, I have a very different question once again, and that is that since you're an educationist yourself, how do you think that the stereotypes Dr. Fozia spoke about, we can get rid of them? We can make sure that within every household, the parents are not worried because all of those people who live in the urban cities, the population might be 20% or 30%. That's it. The rest of the people, for everybody, when I was in my university, was coming from hostels, from Rahim Yar Khan, from somewhere else as well. Parents over there within that household are not so confident in letting their kids know that you can speak the same language which you started speaking when you were born. So how do you think that we really need to give them that confidence that, isko apnao, they should be apnaiye in your own language?
Yes, I think it's very much important. And you see this Mother Languages Literature Festival, which is being organized and which will start today, that is the whole idea, that is to promote Pakistan's cultural and linguistic diversity by fostering critical thinking and learning through creative expression in mother languages. So you see, and if you see the program in all these 3 days, there are different sessions, and you see people are coming from all over the country. And that is the whole idea, basically, to make sure that everyone acknowledge and recognize the importance of mother languages.
Exactly.
And you mentioned about to say something in Urdu or in local languages. So when we talk about education, so you see book is very much important, and we should give importance to our curriculum, books, critical thinking and all those things. So I will say, like in Urdu, किताबें हमें देती हैं कुव्वते परवाज़. And I remember Allama Iqbal's poetry. He said, and when we say everyone is important, अफराद के हाथों में है अक़वाम की तकदीर, हर फर्द है मिल्लत के मुक़द्दर का सितारा.
Absolutely.
And I think all these things are very much important. And I'm not sure if you have attended the Children's Literature Festival as well. And there also we give importance to books because, and it's very much important that there should be interest in reading books because books are very important. And there is Tarana, and it is हमें किताब चाहिए, हमें किताब चाहिए, हमें वो निसाब चाहिए जो जिंदगी बदल दे.
वाह, क्या बात है, बहुत
That is
खूबसूरत,
brilliant.
बहुत उम्दा, बहुत बढ़िया. But then at the same time, one more thing. I'm sorry before I move on to Ms. Nusrat as well, and that is that I still remember a time when my grandparents actually used to talk to each other while saying poetry. That was the kind of conversation which every household had back in those days as well. I might be speaking about 92, 93 or 94 where, our grandparents used to converse with each other by using poetry. And that culture, one way or the other, gave us a deeper understanding of what the poet was trying to convey. And not just that, we were even able to learn another language. But now it's nowhere to be seen.
And that was wonderful thing about having joint families also. Having grandparents
Actually,
together.
And then, somebody would be up on the roof and would be saying another piece of poetry and they would interlink. How and why do you think that it's nowhere to be seen now? Anybody can answer
And
that.
can we
because
bring
it was
it
a beautiful
back?
part of our culture.
Yeah, because it is the language politics. Because that time we were very much into our culture and our language. Now we think about what job you will get after learning this language,
Yeah.
this
Right.
profession. That is the reason people don't think, oh, it is very hard to read any short story. And I feel that what is this? I mean, how can you think? Where is your aesthetic sense if you are not into the literature? So I think in our family we usually have every week we have the mushaira, nashist. We had in family we had bedbazi.
Yeah.
A lot
That's
of
so
time we used
fun.
to talk
Tappe
in
for that
language.
sake as
Yeah,
well, you know.
tappe,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll say a little bit about the festival.
Sure.
It's open to everybody.
Yeah.
You know, just the practical details.
No
It is
tickets,
at
yeah.
Pakistan National Council of the Arts, which is behind Marriott.
Yes.
And the inauguration is today at 5 o'clock. And every evening we are going to have music, and during the day we'll have parallel sessions.
Wow,
wow.
that's just great
Love
and it's
it.
fabulous, and thank
It's
you very
open
much for
and
joining
free.
us.
Open
Yeah,
and
it's
free.
open and free for everybody. I mean, we shouldn't be saying open for everybody, it's free for everybody.
Free for everybody, yeah.
Please make sure to step in and check that out as well. But thank you very much for being with us. It was wonderful to have you. And just very quickly, even though my producer is just in my ear saying that we have to wrap up, ladies and gentlemen, there was a time in Pakistan when bureaucracy actually knew the language Persian as well.
Oh, yeah.
Munshi Fazil used to be the
Yes,
degree,
yes.
and
Yes.
everybody used to speak Persian, and there was this kahavat in Persian about a younger brother, which I cannot say on television, but I'm going to mention it to all my guests after the show. But for everybody who's out there, ladies and gentlemen, today, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, please make sure that you become a part of this Mother Language Literary Festival, which is being held over here in Islamabad at PNCA, right behind Marriott. And I think that it's a great initiative. It's fifth time in a row, you know, in 5 consecutive years. Obviously, this is the 5th year. And the credit goes to the entire team, Chairman Saab over there as well. Yeah, for actually organizing this entire event and coming up with the idea. I think that this is the way forward, and everybody needs to participate.
Absolutely. Indus Cultural Forum actually did an amazing job. But here's the thing, to wrap up with Shahzad, you
Yeah.
know, where you mentioned there was such a beautiful culture to live in where grandparents are talking in their native
Yeah.
languages and
Yeah.
everything. I just feel like, because our grandparents were actually the last generation who had actually seen the pre-partition time as well. So they do realize the value that we fought for, like our languages,
yeah,
like our
yeah,
religion,
yeah.
like so many things. And so the newer generations are now too modern to actually realize all of
Yeah.
that. So ladies and gentlemen, it is our responsibility individually to take on the legacy, to carry
Exactly.
forward our own identity. This is a part of our nationalism
Yeah.
as well. Urdu, Punjabi, Sindhi, Balochi, so many different languages. I
I
am
love
not
the
even able
energy.
to, you
Ki
know.
galle kudiye, aaj te tu chha gayi yaar, ki galle. So, you know, for the closing bit, I think what we need to do is that we really need to pay homage to our mother languages. So
Okay.
let's do it in Punjabi. You know, my mother language is Punjabi.
Mine
And-
is too.
Okay, so let's do it. ਤੇ ਖਵਾਤੀਨੋ ਜ਼ਰਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਲਿਖ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ, ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਫੀਡਬੈਕ ਹੋਵੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਫੇਸਬੁੱਕ ਪੇਜ ਤੇ ਲਿਖੋ, ਉਹਦਾ ਨਾਂ ਹੈ
Well, this morning,
YouTube ਤੇ ਵੀ ਸਾਡਾ ਨਾਂ ਹੈ,
PTV World,
ਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਰਿਪੀਟ ਕੈਚ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ ਕਿਹੜੇ ਵੇਲੇ
11:05 ਤੇ
11:05 ਤੇ ਮੇਕ ਸ਼ੋਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣਾ ਖਿਆਲ ਰੱਖੋ, ਰੱਬ ਰਾਖਾ, ਅੱਲਾ ਹਾਫਿਜ਼, ਸੁਬਹ ਬਖੈਰ,
Allah Hafiz.
ਜਜ਼ਾਕ ਅੱਲਾ।